I've used my phone, laptop, and various programs to create this video. I used a notebook to write the first draft of the script, and I'm using language to communicate my ideas. All of these creative tools are technologies, and all have required the use of my body, my hands, eyes, ears, and so on. Today I want to address what's really happening when we create a video, write an email, or send a text by examining the rhetorical relationship between technology and humans. First, I'll explain what I mean by rhetorical by referencing the work of Kenneth Burke. He writes, "Put identification and division ambiguously together so that you cannot know for certain just where one ends and the other begins, and you have the characteristic invitation to rhetoric." Identification encompasses everything we identify with. We choose to connect ourselves to particular groups, lifestyles, places, and material things. Division is that which we do not identify with. The similarities and differences and the familiarities and novelties we encounter every day constitute complex systems of meaning. Each person forms a unique identity, a perception that is made up of millions of identifications and divisions. This gets further complicated when we consider the interactions between people. The communicative space between these identifications, divisions, and people is where rhetoric thrives. Rhetoricians thus examine relationships, connections, and separations. So, as humans, what does our relationship with technology mean? In his book Technology Matters, David Nye states that the meaning of a tool or technology is inseparable from the stories that surround it. Either to tell a story or to make a tool is to adopt an imaginary position outside immediate sensorial experience. In each case, one imagines how present circumstances might be made different. This shows that technology doesn't just include computers and phones, but everything made by humans. The chair I'm sitting on and the shoes I'm wearing are technologies that someone somewhere conceived of to change their circumstances. In this sense, technology is nothing new, just as narrative and oral traditions trace back to the beginnings of humanity, so does technology. It's largely what makes us human. In fact, our relationship with technology is so strong that most of us would find it difficult to imagine going an entire day without it. Thus, regardless of perceived ability, we are all technologically embodied. Scholar Langdon Winner observes, "The issues that divide or unite people in society are settled not only in the institutions and practices of politics proper, but also, and less obviously, in tangible arrangements of steel and concrete, wires and transistors, nuts and bolts. Just because the shoes I'm wearing right now are comfortable doesn't mean that shoes have always been that way, especially when we take into account foot size and the various purposes for which shoes are worn. Numerous modifications, iterations, and refractions of the original technology have been and had to be made." According to Walter Benjamin, technology is not the mastery of nature, but of the relations between nature and man. Both nature and humans are dynamic, malleable, and ever-changing. Different climates require different technologies, and different humans require different technologies. We all have a unique range of ability, preference, and need. Technologies may seem to be increasingly affecting us. In fact, Adam Garfinkel recently wrote that prolonged and repetitive exposure to digital devices changes the way we think and behave. But we can affect technology. We are part of an elaborate interplay between people and things, and it's more important than ever to realize that. As Lisa Melanson so aptly puts it, understanding that we are all embodied, and all technologically embodied, should ensure that we more consciously, directly, and ethically orient ourselves in ways that make sure people with disabilities and people of all backgrounds are granted more accessibility. So let's continue creating technologies, but let's do it better by considering the rhetorical connections we have with the world we've created.